So many great candidates. I'm gonna let the finger decide. Wait. Whoa, whoa. What is happening? The Dragon Warrior! It's
The deep. Get up here, you. All right.
Long story short, this film was just alright for me. A dropper from the third, which was on its own a dropper from the first two. And I can't really give the film that predictable label because I already knew beforehand everything that was going to happen. But yes, it is very predictable with the whole Aquafina character popping up and being the new Dragon Warrior apprentice or whatever. And I'll just start there. Why is Poe quitting being the Dragon Warrior? Because we clearly have no time frame to how long one should be that before you move on to the next stage. Poe is also quite young, especially considering how his biological father still looks pretty young because of like how old Poe, I don't know. And even in the movie, when he throws hands with the antagonists, for example, and other people, he still shows that he's worthy and he can still do this for a very, very long time. I think Master Shifu might just be a hater. And speaking of fighting, the art direction here is just incredible, as well as the animation. I appreciate how they didn't try to reinvent or do something different like The Last Wish, but it still improved greatly in the department compared to the other movies. There's also a chase sequence that looks as good, if not better in my opinion, than that one that was in like I think part 2. And even the fight sequences like the one at the start and the one at the end was just done really well. The second thing I have a gripe with is the failure of nostalgia bait and doing it completely wrong. Kung Fu Panda 3 was just under half the budget of the third film, and the obvious corners they cut was the removal of the Furious 5. And see, I have no problem with that. The movie is called Kung Fu Panda and not Kung Fu Panda and the Furious 5. So it doesn't really fully take anything away from me if they did it better in terms of like script writing and everything, which they didn't. But could you not have just put that budget into the storytelling? What's the point of bringing Tai Lung back, for example? If you're trying to save money, you already have Master Shifu that you already brought back. You could have just swapped the roles. Not really swapped the roles. You could have removed Tai Lung and put Master Shifu in that role that Tai Lung was having. And it would have probably even been better. Especially considering the villain that Poe had to face this time. It's a villain that can shapeshift. It was also a very missed opportunity with that villain, but I'll talk about the villain more in the final point. And Tai Lung just feels like he has brain damage in this. Obviously, his beef was never really fully with Poe, but it's just weird how he acts towards Poe at the start of his actual introduction and towards the end of the movie. Plus, even with him being there, that was just a massive missed opportunity to tease a sequel with him running away from the afterlife or wherever he is. Did Poe kill him in that first film? I can't remember. But exactly, it's things like that. Why did you make him like willingly want to go back there? Wouldn't he want to still get his revenge on Master Shifu or something? I know Tai Lung wasn't really like a villain, but still though, that was such a missed opportunity. Other problems I had was like the involvement of the two fathers. Their scenes were just really a whole bunch of nothing. They were never funny, and the only funny one they had was funny to me only because it was a callback to the encounter Poe and his friend just had in the movie. I understand what they tried to do with them in the story, but it just did not work well like at all. And the resolution parts with Poe and his friend were better, but can't hold a flame to anything that was done in the original trilogy. Finally, the topic on the bad guy. I'm not going to bother you to say much aside uncompelling. Twist on its own was smart but dumb, because if this character supposedly ran the street, why is Poe's friend wanted? But I digress. But I think the evil person like that, with the power set and the general influence that character has, it should be a hit. Like the potential to be identical to the second one, which was one of the best villains in the entire trilogy. How she wanted to like kill off Kung Fu and everything. This could have just been a character that wanted to take all of that Kung Fu. It's literally the same plot, but you make it worse. How? And also the fact that you have a shape-shifting character, but the character barely shape-shifts in the movie. It's towards the end. Like, that's like a secondary power you give that character, especially when the character is with Poe. The only time the character uses that power to trick Poe to make him lose his guard was when you use the embodiment of his friend, right? I know the villain didn't obviously see his father, but the fact that you already included the fathers in it, you could have like made the villain capture them and you could have used that to trick Poe. I don't know. You could have. How can you give a character that power set and you do not use it? But besides all of that, like it doesn't even matter. That's a cliche. It's a good cliche, but it's a cliche you could do with that whole shapeshift power. But the thing is, her whole ordeal was between Poe's friend and her. So I just think the fact that Poe sat in the middle of that just disconnects you and makes you not really want to care about what happens to her compared to, as I mentioned, the villain in the second part that had a direct impact in Poe's life. But yeah, Despicable Me 4 was not great, but it was okay. And what is it with all these animated films this year and teasing the potential of former characters from their IP? Thank you for watching this video. Bye.